everybody. Today, the Beauty Over 40 collab is doing eye looks based on our zodiac sign. And we're going to talk about traits of our zodiac signs too. My birthday is November 12th, so that makes me Scorpio because Scorpio birthdays fall between October 23rd and November 21st. And the Scorpio gemstone is Topaz. I have this ring that represents my 3 children who are adults now. But my oldest son is a Scorpio like me. My next son is a Virgo like my ex-husband. And my daughter is a Leo. So our birthstones are Topaz, Sapphire, and Peridot. So for the Topaz, I'll be using the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Tooth. There's a beautiful topaz color in here that I want to use. And I don't have this color in any of my other palettes. It's this color right here. That's so pretty. Let me put it on my hand. It's a beautiful topaz color. So I'll be using that one. And for the Sapphire, I'll be using this Melt Impulsive palette. It has a couple of really beautiful dark blue shades in it. Right here. The one that looks most like a sapphire is this one right here. It's really rich, deep blue. So that will be the Sapphire. And then for the Peridot, I'll be using this Sunday Brunch palette from IBY. It has this gorgeous color called Avocado Toast. And it looks like a Peridot when I put it on. This beautiful, soft yellowish green. So this one will represent Peridot. So those are the 3 colors that I'll be using today. My face is already prepped. I have my foundation, powder. I have some bronzer on and concealer and my brows. The rest of it I'll do on camera while we talk about Scorpio traits. When I Googled Scorpio traits, at the very top up here, it's only the bad stuff. I mean, I think it's supposed to be funny, but okay, it says, it has bullet points, and then it says passionate, and then in parentheses it says red, controlling. Persistent, red, obsessive. Strategic, red, secretive. Loyal, red, vengeful. I don't see how loyal and vengeful go together, but okay. Fearlessly curious, red, morbid. So I had to look a little further and try to find something good. So as I looked further down, I found this one. It says Scorpios are among the most psychically sensitive of all signs of the zodiac. They have finely honed observation skills, and they are extremely perceptive, with a knack for picking up on a person's feelings and emotions to the point of knowing what they're thinking before they have opened their mouth. That part is true, especially with people that are close to me and my family and close friends and stuff. I always just know how they feel or what they're thinking, so that part is true. My family is just used to it by now, but whenever I meet a new friend or something and I happen to just know how they feel or something they were thinking about, it surprises them, you know. They say, "How did you know that?" And I say, "Well, I just know." I can't really explain that. And then another description says that some of our characteristics are intensity, charisma, and passion. It says Scorpios have confidence and the ability to acquire knowledge from everything. They have a hunger for knowledge from within them that makes them an extremely knowledgeable person. Okay, let's talk about that hunger for knowledge. That has been with me from day one. Let me get a brush. I'm using this Angel Eyes lip primer. One of my earliest memories is of being very young. I'm talking maybe 2.5, and seeing my older siblings reading. They read all the time because my father required it. They had to read every day, and he would question them about something they had learned that day. And if they didn't have a good response, then they would get punished. Because he was very strict about that. And about other things too. But anyway, so I would see them reading every day. And I remember being too young to express that I wanted to know how to do it too. So I would just watch them. And, you know, if I interfered, they would like read to me and things like that. But they still didn't quite understand that I wanted to know how to do it myself. And so by the time I was about 3 years old, because by this time I had been obsessing over it for months. So by the time I was 3 years old, I was able to explain to them and my mother that I wanted to learn how to do that, what they were doing, even before I knew that it was called reading. So when I was able to explain to them that I wanted to learn how to read too, then one of my older sisters, who was 12, I believe at the time, she started teaching me. She would just read the words and point to them and tell me what the words said, and she would read the entire sentence, and she was showing me the words and what the letters sounded like and what the 2-letter combination sounds sounded like. And eventually I picked it up. So I started reading at 3 years old. And then, of course, I became obsessed with reading. I wanted to read everything. All the junk mail that came in the house. A lot of times it had words on it that I didn't know how to read yet. So I would read the words that I could read and ask about the ones that I couldn't. So that's the earliest, so that's my earliest memory of being obsessed with something. When I got a little bit older, there were other things like certain cars and stuff. If they had a feature on them, if I would see a car that had a feature on it that I had never seen before, I would just obsess over that until I was either able to figure out or until somebody told me what the feature was. And like most children, I had a very vivid imagination because there was this car. I would visit one of my older sisters because I come from a big family. And so my oldest sister was married by the time I was like 5 or 6 years old. And so we would visit her house. And one of her neighbors had, I'm using the blue right now. One of her neighbors had this car. I think it was a Cadillac. One of those cars that had the wheel cover come down and cover like half of the wheel. And I remember just being obsessed about that. I couldn't explain what it was. So in my imagination, it was something that could help the car lift off the ground, like hover or fly almost. So I was just every time I would see this car, I was just thinking about it all day, all night. I'm just obsessed with those panels over the tires. They have to do something. You know, I couldn't imagine that they were just decorative. In my mind, they had to do something. And so I convinced my brother and my little nephew, who would have only been maybe 2 years old, that those panels could make the car fly. And so we went outside and I was saying, if we could just lift them up, if we could lift these panels up, then we can see that there are wings that can make the car fly. And so they came out there with me. I was about 5 or 6. My brother was about 4 or 5. And then my little nephew he might not even been 2 years old. He was really young. But so we went out there and pulled on those panels, and they fell off. The one we were pulling on fell off. And it made a loud banging sound, and it scared us, and we ran back in the house. And so then I was terrified that the neighbor would see that and that we would get in trouble. but we didn't get in trouble. I don't know. He probably figured it was just kids messing with the car or whatever. But that's how I was as a youngster. I was obsessive about things, and I had to know stuff. So those two traits that they describe are definitely true. I've always wanted to know everything that I can about everything. And when I was younger, those obsessions would just control me. I don't do that now, but I sure remember how it felt. Being young and curious and just determined to know something. And the other traits, being loyal and all that, that's true. I am very loyal to my friends and family, people who are close to me. I'm very loyal. So that's a good thing, I think. Okay, so that's the Sapphire. I have Sapphire and Peridot on right now. Okay, and now I'll put on the Topaz. This beautiful Topaz color from Pat McGrath. Dame Pat McGrath. Yes, can't forget that. Sounds like a storm is coming. I hope I have enough light in here. Okay. Oh, that's pretty. Wow. I guess nowadays you could say my obsession is makeup, skincare. Actually, I've been obsessed with makeup since I was a teenager. I just didn't have any money to buy it, but when I used to babysit and get a few dollars from that, I wanted to buy makeup really badly, but my mother wouldn't allow me to wear any kind of makeup because I'm talking young, like 12, 13, you know. I started becoming obsessed with makeup. And I had this this doll head. It was like a head that had hair on it that you could comb and style. The face you could put makeup and stuff on. So I played with that. I was always putting makeup and lipstick and stuff on that thing, on that doll head toy. And for myself, since I wasn't allowed to wear makeup, we couldn't have colored nail polish either, but we could have clear. So I'll put clear nail polish on my fingers, and we could put like Vaseline or chapstick on our lips. So what I would do is I would put chapstick or Vaseline on my lips and then get some Kool-Aid and tap it on there and put some color on there. I would put the Kool-Aid on my eyes too, just to play around because, you know, I couldn't go anywhere looking like that. So by the time I turned 16, when my mother would allow me to wear a little makeup, that's when I was able to work after school and buy makeup. But of course, back then, we're talking a long time ago, the colors that were available were just not good. I would buy something that looked like a dark purple or something to put on my lids, and I'll put it on, it'll be some sparkly lavender. It didn't look good, but that's what I had at the time. And I have a picture or two of myself with that makeup. I won't show you, it was not cute. But anyway, I was always obsessed with makeup. And even though I grew up in a family with a lot of sisters, I was the only one. I had one of my older sisters. She was really into skincare and hair care and stuff like that. And she actually wrote a book, a beauty book, when she was 17. And it was really good too. So she was really into, you know, natural beauty type stuff. And I was crazy about makeup. And so then when I got a little older and I discovered Fashion Fair, oh my goodness. It's getting dim in here. I'm going to turn the light on. Hopefully that'll make a difference. Okay, that's better, but it's washing me out a little bit. Hopefully not too much. Right, but back to the Fashion Fair counter. I would go there and buy lipstick. That was the first time I was ever able to find a foundation that actually matched my skin perfectly. And oh, I was so happy. I had this beautiful powder foundation I would put on, and a lipstick that wasn't too pale, you know, it looked good on me and stuff like that. So even though all I had at that time was the powder, a lipstick, and I had this little blush. I don't remember where I got the blush from, but I loved it because it was a beautiful shade, and I would use it for lipstick and blush. And it was the first time I had ever seen anything like that. It's cream blush. I'll just blend these colors a little bit, and I should be done there. That's a little better. I want a little definition, but I don't want it to look too stark. So, blend that a little. Okay, so I have the Topaz on my lids. I have the Sapphire in my crease and the Peridot just above the Sapphire. Okay, so when I was thinking about which blush and lip color I wanted to go with this, I wanted something neutral, but with some warmth to it. So for blush, I'll be using this blush from the Crayon Case Blush Binder. This right here. It's a nice neutral blush that's quite warm. So let's see. You have to be careful because this blush is so saturated. You can go from being blushed to looking clownish and very quickly. And I don't want that. So I just barely dip into it. This is a nice natural looking shade for me. I love this blush binder. It has every kind of color you could possibly want. And a little goes a long way, and these pans are huge. So it will last forever pretty much. You just barely dip, put it on there, and you have plenty of it in this huge binder of 18 blushes. Okay. I wanted something in the same sort of color family as the blush, so I chose this NYX Slip Tease in the shade Camel. It's a really warm brown too. You hear Camel, you think sort of tan, but it's not. It's a warm, slightly reddish brown. So I'm going to put this on. Wow. This is my first time wearing this. I need to blot that down a bit. I like the color though. This is a nice neutral kind of brown that doesn't clash with these eye colors. Not too much. Okay, so now I just need to do liner and lashes, and I'll be done. So for liner, I'll be using this Jaunty Blue liner. It's black. Okay. And for the top, I'll be using these magnetic lashes and liner that I got from Sicily. I'd like to put on these lashes right here. Those are pretty. Okay, there's one lash. And now I'll do the other one. It's always harder to do my left eye because I'm right-handed. Hopefully I can get this done without it looking too different from the other side. So here's my Zodiac eye makeup look. And don't forget to check out the other beautiful ladies who are doing this collab as well. I'll leave the links to their videos in the description box. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye.